One moment.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody, and good evening, and good afternoon for everybody. In the beginning, I want to say thank you, Reverend Sykes, and for this chance you gave to me to present my presentation today about Islam and the Quran and the divine principle. And anyhow, as you know, the main purpose of the divine principle is unification. So we need to address Muslims and, of course, besides Christian Muslims and Jews and Buddhists and Hindus, all of them. And because the divine principle originally is based on the Bible. Therefore, if we want to talk about the Quran and the divine principle, then we need to speak a little bit about the Quran and the Bible. This is very important. And therefore, let me start with talk about the roots of Islam. And then we can move step by step to our main topic. So generally in the Quran, Muslim people, they believe like that. The roots of Islam is stemming back to Ibrahim and Ishmael. Abraham and Ishmael. Ibrahim and Ismail. So this is the roots of Islam. Therefore, we can find roots for Islam in the Old Testament. For example, we can read in the Old Testament, and as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him a fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget and will make him a great nation. Also, it's mentioned in Genesis, but my covenant I will establish it with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time of the next year. This is very important. So this is the beginning, because the beginning of Islam is the prayer of Abraham and Ishmael together. And then a problem came out actually, because Abraham, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, Abraham couldn't put the two ladies together, Sarah and Hagar. So we can say that the problem is not between the historical problem which came out in Christianity and Islam, Judaism and the Arab world, is not from Isaac and Ismail. It's coming back to Sarah and Hagar. So this was the kind of bad feeling between those two ladies. Then this broke all the foundation in Abraham's heart. Of course, Jacob was very clever, and Jacob, he could put all his family together. He has 4 wives. He put them all together without separation and without division. But Abraham couldn't do that. And this became the foundation and the root for Islam. And then anyhow, Abraham, he took his son Ishmael to the mountains of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And so let us go to our topic. There is similarities between the Quran and the Bible, and there is differences. So there is very important events was not mentioned in the Quran at all, though the Quran really mostly was talking about Moses. The name of Moses mentioned in the Quran more than 100 times. But nevertheless, there was no mention about the tabernacle at all. I don't know why. No mention about the tabernacle of Moses. Though the story of Moses from his birth till he enters the land of Canaan is all narrated in detail in the Quran. Also, the resurrection of Jesus was not mentioned in the Quran. And besides that, the Acts of the Apostles were not there in the Quran, actually. Of course, besides that, the idea of salvation and original sin, it was mentioned that about the fall of man, but the idea of salvation was not mentioned in the Quran. Therefore, Muslim people generally, they have different concept of salvation, different from the Christian point of view. So the differences are like this. These are the main differences. Crucifixion of Jesus, not mentioned in the Quran. Or the Quran has different idea about crucifixion. And in the Quran, Jesus is the Messiah. Jesus is the Messiah in the Quran. But still, Jesus is a human being. And also in the Quran, there is a different idea about the Trinity. The Quran criticized, actually, frankly speaking, criticized the idea of Trinity of God. And also the idea of salvation was not mentioned in the Quran because in Islam, generally Muslims believe that nobody can save another person. You have to work on your own salvation by yourself. And of course, the biggest difference between Islam and Christianity is polygamy, because polygamy is permitted in Islam. And this is the problem need to be solved. Now, these days, generally, Muslim people, they don't practice polygamy. But originally, in the Quran, it is permitted, actually, to have more than one wife. So let us go to the New Testament, the Quran and the New Testament. Anyhow, also the reason for Islam to emerge is a mistake took place during Jesus' time. And let us read from the Bible, from the book of Matthew. It says, and think not say within yourself, we have Abraham to be our father. For I say unto you that God is able of these stones to raise up children unto Abraham. In Matthew 3:9. And therefore we can understand God really has raised a new children from Abraham, Christianity and Islam. They came out beside Judaism and Jewish people. And one of the reasons for the emergence of Islam is it also took place at Jesus' time. This is in the Bible, in the book of Luke, it says, and they cried out all at once, saying, away with this man, and release unto us Barabbas. So they choose Barabbas to be released, and they send Jesus to the cross. So actually they amazed God. Therefore, God also amazed them. He amazed them because he has chosen a different people, a different nation, because the Israelites of that time, they choose a different person. Instead of let the Roman governor to release Jesus because he found no sin in Jesus, no mistake on Jesus. But anyhow, they said to him, release for us Barabbas and send that man to the cross. So this became a grave mistake of the Israelites at that time. And I think this is actually Father Moon's idea also. Because of that point, then God raised up Islam actually out of nothing, out of no way, Islam came out on the foundation of Abraham and Ismail. So there is some differences, of course. There is some differences and different reading, you know. And when we look at the divine principle, we can find some good things, some how to say similar points of view in the divine principle and the Quran. And sometimes you find more details actually. You can find more details in the Quran, which you cannot find in the Bible. And sometimes we find details in the Bible, which we do not find in the Quran. Here I'm going to speak about 3 points actually, about the fall of man and Adam family and the second advent. Because all these were founded actually on my book, United Visions. I have a book written called United Visions. You can find it in Amazon. So let us go to these 3 points. What is the true meaning of the fall of man? Because the stories are similar in the Bible and in the Quran. But in the Quran, it is more elaborated and more detailed and more direct, actually. Let me read for you. This is from the Quran, chapter 230. And when your Lord said to the angels, I'm going to place in the earth a Khalifa, they said, what? Will you place in it such as shall make mischief in it and shed blood? And we celebrate thy praise and extol thy holiness. He said, surely I know what you do not know. وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون. So this is very important actually verse of the Quran. So that means actually all the angels, they protested actually. All the angelic realm protested in front of God. How can you bring such a being and put him on our heads while we are praising you and worshiping you all these ages? So God said to them, because you don't know, I have put on this man much more qualities and abilities which you don't have. And the Quran goes in details about this actually. Because God then asked Adam many questions, the angel couldn't answer them. But Adam, he answered them perfectly. So the Quran, in this point, the Quran is more detailed because it says that an archangel, an angel deceived Adam and Eve. It is not a serpent. The Quran clearly says there was an archangel who was good, a good being, but he couldn't accept Adam to be, he couldn't accept to be a subordinate to Adam. He couldn't accept to be a subordinate to Adam. Therefore, he protested and he rebelled against God. The Quran said Satan whispered to Adam, and he said, "Oh Adam, shall I show you the tree of immortality and a kingdom that never decays? هل أدلك على شجرة الخلد وملك لا يبلى?" And this means, what is the meaning of this? This means that Adam already he is looking for that tree, because it is well known that Lucifer, he never approached people with a different point of view. He always approach you from a point of view which can be accepted by you. Therefore, he said to Adam and Eve, do you want the tree of life? Okay, I can show you where you can find this tree of life. And then he guided them and misled them. Therefore, Iblis, of course, Lucifer in the Quran is called Iblis, Satan. His name Iblis. So under Iblis supervision started the origin of loss. Because the Quran described the problem of Adam after the fall, he said Adam and Eve, they lost their original nature. They became in a state of loss. They lost their original nature, their original position, al-khusran. So that means that Adam and Eve, they entered in an immature relationship and a family relationship before God gave the permission. So that means Adam and Eve, They started their family life with the permission of Lucifer, not permission of God. So Lucifer was really, he was so frustrated actually, according to the Quran story. Lucifer was frustrated and he was very angry. He said, me to be misguided by you, indeed I will definitely sit for them on your straight path. بما أغويتني لأقعدن لهم صراطك مستقيم. He said to God, Lucifer said to God, because you misguided me. This is your mistake. You misguided me, therefore I'm going to lead them all astray and guide them in the wrong direction. So Lucifer, he became so furious and angry. And actually, he has many talks to God. He said, for example, I swear with your mighty name to seduce them all. He said to God like that, I swear with your mighty name to seduce them all. Human being, of course. Also, he said to Allah, I will surely take for myself and impose share from them. That means every human being, Satan has a share on him. It's not up to us. This is already decided by Lucifer from the beginning when he took Adam and Eve. Then he said to God, I'm going to have a portion of every human being. Every human being has a portion which belongs to me, not for you. I will lead them astray. I will give them elusive hopes. I will order them to change your original creation so that really we can understand how serious human being situation. That means we are completely under control of Lucifer. So this is the attitude of Lucifer toward Adam. Lucifer evaluated himself by himself. He evaluated himself by himself, and it is well established in the Islamic culture that the first being who said I am is Lucifer. He is the first being who said I am. Anna. So when God said to Lucifer, he asked him, because in the Quran it says that God asked all the angels to prostrate to Adam. That means all the angels, God asked them to be a subordinate to Adam. So all the angels, they prostrate to Adam and Eve except Lucifer. He rejected, he refused. He said, I will not prostrate. I will not be a subordinate to this human being. Why? God asked him, what prevented thee from prostrating when I commanded thee? Then Lucifer said, I'm better than him. I'm better than him. So he evaluated himself by himself. You created me from fire and created him from dust, from clay. So I'm better than him. How can you ask me to prostrate and become a subordinate to that such a human being? It's very interesting. So Lucifer, so here so the angels prostrated themselves except Iblis. He refused to prostrate to Adam. He refused to become a subordinate to Adam. He wanted Adam and Eve to be a subordinate to him. So he reversed the dominion of creation as the divine principle said. He left his position and he reversed the dominion, the position of dominions. Instead of being dominated by Adam and Eve, he dominated Adam and Eve up to now, up to today. And when we said to the angels, make obeisance to Adam, they did. But Iblis did not. He refused and he was arrogant. This is the Quran said. Lucifer was arrogant. Because of his arrogance, he couldn't be a subordinate to Adam. And by this, rebellion, he destroyed all the system actually. The whole system of existence was destroyed and broken down by Lucifer because he left his position. So when he left his position, the whole system was in confusion because he was in the top. So Lucifer was like the very important stone or brick or a very important step in the completion of the creation. So suddenly he left his position. So Adam has no way to go through that ladder, and then it became for him very easy. He captured Adam and Eve and he took them down with him to hell, away from God. Okay, this is about Adam family. I can say that in the Muslim people generally, they have no concept about the original sin. Though the fall of man is well explained in the Quran, but Muslims, they think that this mistake of Adam and Eve is just something concerning Adam and Eve. We have nothing to do with this. And actually, this is not true. They have to understand, because if we have nothing to do with Adam and Eve mistakes, why haven't we, or why didn't we already be in the Garden of Eden? Because if Adam and Eve made a mistake and we are not connected with that mistake, then we should be all born inside the kingdom of heaven and inside paradise. But since we are not, since we were all born outside paradise, outside Jannah, outside the kingdom of heaven, that means we are affected by the mistake of Adam and Eve. It is very clear. We have something to do with Adam and Eve mistake, and we are suffering from that mistake, according to the Quran itself. So now let us go to the other part of the divine principle about the family of Adam. Of course, the history of restoration in the divine principle and in the Quran is similar. The story of all the prophets of Adam family, Noah family, and Abraham family, and about also the kings of Israel, Saul and David and Solomon and all the New Testament prophets, Zechariah, John the Baptist, and Jesus Christ, they are all mentioned and well revered and respected in Islam, actually. And one of the main points in Islam, you have to believe in all the prophets of the Bible. So all the prophets of the Bible were highly revered and respected in Islam, actually. So there is more details here in Adam family. The Quran said actually, when Adam committed his sin, when he committed mistake, and after that, God gave him condition. God gave Adam a condition, and Adam, he fulfilled that condition. So somehow God forgive him partially. So he was forgiven partially. It says like that. And also when we came to the story of Cain and Abel, the Quran didn't say their name. He didn't say Cain and Abel, but he says the children of Adam, the two sons of Adam, the elder and the younger. He said, recite to them the truth of the story of the two sons of Adam. Behold, they each presented a sacrifice to Allah. They make their offering, and it was accepted from one, but not from the other. Then the latter said, be sure I'm going to kill you. This is Cain said to his brother, I'm going to kill you. Then Abel said to him, Allah does accept of the sacrifice of those who are righteous. So that means Abel was very arrogant. He inherited the arrogance, both of them inherited the arrogance of Lucifer, because Abel said to his brother Cain, because I am righteous, God accepted my offering. And because you are not righteous, God didn't accept your offering. So that makes his brother Cain more furious, more angry, and more frustrated and disappointed. Instead of taking care of his brother and sympathize with him and somehow guide him and show him how to make his offering, and instead of that, he really he said, I'm better than you. Because I'm better than you, then God accepted my offering and didn't accept your offering. Then it goes like that. He said to his brother, if you stretch your hand to kill me, to slay me, I'm not going to stretch my hand to slay you because I do fear Allah, the cherisher of the world. Because I fear God, I'm not going to kill you. If you want to kill me, okay, go and do it. Go and kill me. Do it, kill me, okay. Because you are a bad man, a bad guy, you know. I'm a man of God. I never kill you. But yeah, if you go and kill me, it's very interesting. For me, I intend to let thee draw thyself, my sin, as well as your sin. So I want you to carry my sin and your sin. So this is very arrogant behavior, actually. I will be so that you will be among the companions of the fire. You will go to hell. Kill me, and you will go to hell. Of course, I will go to paradise. I'm a good man. So anyhow, the Quran says that then the Cain selfish said sin, the soul of the other led him to murder his brother, and he murdered him and became himself of the lost one. So this negotiation and discussion between Cain and Abel is a very interesting negotiation and talks. And from this, you can understand that even if we are in the position of Abel, we shouldn't be arrogant. We have to be humble. And if we are in the position of Abel, we have to take responsibility of Cain. And we cannot just leave Cain because he is Cain, because he doesn't know, because he doesn't understand, and just leave him and go. No, we have to work seriously to take Cain with us, because there is no Abel without Cain. So Abel should bring Cain with him together. They have to go together. This is why God has read Islam, because Islam came out from the camp position of Ishmael. Therefore, God wanted to raise up the descendants of Ishmael to be equal to the descendants of Isaac. Therefore, Islam emerged at that time. It's like that. Let us talk now about the second advent in Islam. Of course, Muslims generally, they believe that Messiah will come. The Messiah will come. There is many Prophet hadith saying that a Messiah will come in the future. And also some verses in the Quran, you can interpret them talking about indirectly about the coming of the Messiah in the last days. So Muslims are expecting the Messiah. But generally, Muslims, they believe that Jesus Christ will come back by himself. And Jesus was ascended to heaven. And he will come back by himself again, by his flesh, to the earth from the sky, from heaven, he will come back to earth. And actually, this point of view in Islam is very similar to the belief of the Israelites for the coming of Elijah. The Israelites 2,000 years ago, they are waiting for Elijah to come from the sky because they believe that Elijah was ascended to heaven in a chariot of fire. So they are waiting for Elijah to come again. And actually, this created serious problem for Jesus Christ at that time. So Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salatu wasalam, many times in his hadith, he prophesied that in the last days, Jesus Christ will come down again, he will come back. So let us go in some details about this interesting story. Anyhow, the revelation of the Quran was given to the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, through Archangel Gabriel. The Archangel Gabriel is the one who gave the news about the good tidings about the birth of John the Baptist, and also the good news about the birth of Jesus Christ. And he is the same one who delivered the revelation of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. So these three missions were given by the Archangel Gabriel. So as if Gabriel was restoring the mistake of Lucifer. He was restoring the mistake of Lucifer. The Quran says Allah did choose Adam and Noah, the family of Abraham and the family of Imran, above all people. إن الله اصطفى آدم ونوحا وآل إبراهيم وآل عمران على العالمين. So let us think here. Allah has chosen Adam. What is the meaning of God chose Adam? That means there is some being before Adam, and from those beings, God has chosen Adam from them. So this can give us a hint or a glimpse about a kind of evolution idea. That means there were some kind of pre-human being there, and from those pre-human beings, God chose Adam and Eve from them. So God has chose Al Imran family from the Israelites, and he has chose the Israelites from Ibrahim family, and has chose Ibrahim from Noah family, and has chosen Noah from Adam family, and he has chosen Noah, and he has chosen Adam from pre-Adam being. We can understand it like that. It's possible actually. Let us go to the grandmothers. This is very interesting story in the Quran. The Quran, when he was narrated about the birth of Jesus, he started from Jesus' grandmother. Jesus' grandmother was a very special woman. He said, behold, the wife of Imran said, O my Lord, I do dedicate unto thee what is in my womb for thy special service to accept this of me, for thou heartest and knowest all things. So Mary Mother is the woman from where the last chapter of the birth of Jesus Christ started. The last chapter of the birth, of course, there is many chapters before that, from the time of Tamar and Judah and all the Ruth, all this. But the last chapter started with Jesus' grandmother. The grandmother, when she conceived with Mary, while Mary was in her womb, she offered Mary to God. She said, I offer thee to you, to God. So this is very important, actually. Therefore, Mary, when Mary was born, Mary was offered to the temple in Jerusalem. And actually, according to the Quran, Mary grew up inside the temple under the supervision of Zechariah. Zechariah was the guardian, and he's like he's the priest who take care of her, because when Mary was given to the temple, the priests were fighting who will take care of Mary. This is according to the Quran. Then he said the priests, they cast a lot. They cast a lot, and then Zechariah, he wins the toss. Zechariah wins the toss. He became like the guardians and the supervisor of Mary. So Mary was under the supervision of Zechariah in the temple in Jerusalem. So, but because at that time Mary mother, she doesn't know what kind she might have. Maybe she was expecting a boy anyhow, but suddenly it came out a woman again. So she said to God, I'm sorry, I have delivered a woman. So please accept her, please. She doesn't know, of course, this woman is very, very important woman. So behold, I delivered a female child. I have named her Mary. Look at this. And I commend her and her offspring to thy protection from Satan. This is very, very important prayer made by Mary Mother. I commend her and her offspring to thy protection from Satan, the evil one. So that means 3 generations for the birth of Jesus Christ. So this is, guys, this is actually remind me of the story of Mother Moon, because Mother Moon in her book, her book of autobiography, we talk about her grandmother. It's very interesting. She talked about her grandmother and her mother. So it is very similar to the story of Jesus Christ, because for Jesus to be the begotten Son of God, to be the first begotten Son, he was from 3 generations, Mary, my grandmother, and Mary, mother, and Jesus' grandmother, Jesus' mother, and Jesus himself. This is very interesting point, actually. So let us move more to a very famous hadith of the Prophet Muhammad. It said like that: the angel Gabriel asked the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam about the signs of the hour. The Archangel Gabriel came to the Prophet Muhammad in the shape of a human being. He came to him in the shape of a human being, and he asked him, "Can you tell me about the signs of the last days?" In Islam, they call it the last hour, not the last day, the last hour, only 1 hour, the last of the last. So the Prophet said to him, the handmaid will give birth to her Lord woman. أن تلد الأمة ربتها أن تلد الأمة ربتها. The handmaid will give birth to her Lord woman, or kind of lordess, if it is possible to say it in English, a lordess, a special woman. She is going to be born. And he said to him, the humble people, very, very humble people, are going to suddenly raise up, and they are raised to a high position, and they are going to build lofty building. This is my translation. This hadith is very important hadith, very famous hadith in Islam. It is the second hadith in the Arba'in al-Nawawiyah. So that means a special woman will be born in the last days, similar to the position of Jesus Christ 1,000 years ago. If I can say, a very special woman is going to be born at the last days. Why? From where I got this idea? How can I say like this? There is no proof. Actually, I got the proof from the gospel, the gospel of Luke, because Mary, it is mentioned in the gospel of Luke that Mary, the gospel of Luke says that, and Mary said, "Behold, the handmaid of the Lord, be it unto me according to thy word." And the angel departed from her, the archangel Gabriel. So she described herself as the handmaid of the Lord. And also when she met Elizabeth, John's mother, then Elizabeth prophesied to her, the mother of my Lord. She said like that, the mother of my Lord. So, and also Mary said, the Lord raised up the humiliated people. He raised the humiliated. So these 3 prophecies came from Mary and from Elizabeth. I could understand the Prophet Muhammad prophecies. That means in the last days, the woman, the handmaid woman, will give birth to her lordess, or her something like that, and the humiliated are going to be raised up to a higher position. So that means something like that in the future, in the last days, a special woman will be born. Let us go to the final prophecy, and I'm going to conclude. This is the final. There, there was a very famous verse in the Quran. It says like that. There was, by the end, it says by the end of there was a group of the Israelites. When the Israelites went astray, at that time, maybe around by the end of the divided kingdom, almost 2,800 years ago. So at that time, he said there is one tribe of the Israelites. They rejected the way of the, how to say, the disbelief and the way in which the Israelites at that time they took. They didn't want to go in astray way. They wanted, so they asked God, can you help us? Please guide us. Please save us from this situation. So the very famous interpreter of the Quran, they asked him, who are those people? Because they said there is one tribe of the Israelites who was saved by God. So people are asking, who are those people? Who is that tribe? Then Ibn Abbas, he is a famous exegeter exegeter of the Quran. He is the most authorized man to exegete the Quran. He is the prophet nephew, and he said that these people are one of Israel tribes after the ancient Israelites deviated from the way of God. Allah took them to beyond over China, and they will emerge with the Messiah on the last days. This is amazing prophecy, because over China, behind China, there's only Korea and Japan, no other country there. So he says they are there and they will come out, they will emerge with the Messiah in the last days. This is a very serious and great prophecy in the commentary of the Quran. And that means in the last days, the Messiah will come out from behind China, from a country over China. And this is very important, actually, a prophecy for the coming of the Messiah from the Far East. That means the Messiah really is coming from the Far East. So that means true father and true mother, really, there is a prophecy in the Quran telling us that the Messiah will come from this Far East place. And those people, they are descendants of one clan of the Israelites. And actually, I found out, even in Japan, there was a common belief that their great ancestor came from Middle East. They believe like that, and I think even in Korea there was a strong belief that their great ancestor came from the Middle East. That means their great ancestor came from one of the tribes of the Israelites. They are descendants of Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham. Okay, these are my books. Actually, my books are there in Amazon. You can find them. I have 5 books available on Amazon. If you want to, you buy one. This is the most important one, United Visions. In this book, you will find all these points which I talk about now, United Visions. You can order it from Amazon. You can buy it from there. It's very cheap. You can buy it even as KDB. It's only $1, in KDB. Don't worry. And if you want it in paper, it's a little bit expensive, but it's a minimum price, And by this, I conclude my lecture. Thank you so much. And I hope I can have another chance. We can talk about many other points about the Quran, Islam, and the divine principle. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you, and see you again.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Professor Abdelmoumin Ahmed. Thank you, Shukriya. We want to just, arigato gozaimashite. I believe you're in Japan. We just want to thank everyone, and it's going to be on Facebook Live. And